Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This was going to be a live video as per the poll on Instagram. Unfortunately, there's a lot of building work going on in the flat beneath me. I didn't think that would be going on today. I thought that was just going to be happening in the week, but it is going on today, so it's far too noisy to go live. So, pre-produced video for now. We will do a live in the future, though. Hopefully, we can get some of the cast involved. And speaking of the cast, I believe the first part of this was a casting update. So, let me give you a casting update right now. The people we have cast, the roles we have cast already. Kate, played by Janie Hayes. Janie has been in both of our previous movies, both Annette and Called Shot, and is not only starring in this film, but is also doing all of the practical effects. Janie has a history in practical effects, as many of you will already know. She's been involved in several films outside of Durs Productions before with her effects, and she is bringing her gore to the 12th day. Jen, played by Saffron Crowley. Saffron blew us away in her audition video, and I cannot wait to work with her. Unlike most of us, she's actually studied performing arts and has done some theatre work and stage work before. Really, really excited to be working with Saffron. Cynthia, played by Evelyn Bonella. Evelyn is an accomplished actress with many roles to her name already, and we cannot wait to work with her. Dan, played by Richard Thompson. Richard, of course, starred in Annette and Called Shot, and we're absolutely delighted to have him back this time. A great guy to get on with, a great guy to film with and work with. He's one of the easiest people to work with in the world. Really excited to get started again with Rich. Jacob, played by Josh Mills. I'm really excited to be working with Josh. I've not worked with Josh before. I have several friends that have, and I think he's going to be absolutely perfect in the role of Jacob. Chris, played by Daz Thomas. Daz has been involved with Durs Productions since Annette. He was in Annette and Called Shot as Phil, the Tramp. You know, what a guy. Cannot wait to work with Daz again. And Chris is homeless in the film, so who else were we going to cast? Mystery Man, played by Jake Bristow. I can't talk too much about Jake's role, but it is a substantial role in the film, and he's an absolute trooper for doing it. I cannot wait for you guys to see the performance that Jake puts in for this film. Well, those are the people that we've cast so far, but we still have a few more roles left to cast, so if you're interested in the following roles, please email dursproductions@hotmail.com and let us know. Carl. Carl is the typical bully's mate. He's the kind of guy that's in a group of bullies or a group of horrible people, he will always egg the people on, but will never get directly involved himself. He's sarcastic, witty, but a bit of an asshole. Jonathan is an ex-police officer and grieving father. He holds Jacob responsible for the death of his son and will stop at nothing to both prove that he was a murderer and also see him brought to justice. So, the second part of this video was a Q&A, and I have some questions from Instagram. One was zero budget. What is zero budget? Well, zero budget for us, and recently discussed this actually on a podcast with Terry Cooper, who has his own film, Bloody Students. Go check that out on Instagram. We were talking about zero budget, and the price range for zero budget varies greatly. Zero budget for us is practically zero. It's whatever I can get together. So we're basically working for free and just doing this for fun. I had some auditions. Some people said, hey, I can come down from London to be in your film. I'd love to be in your film, and we'd love to, happy to travel. And that's really nice, and it's really great, but I don't really feel comfortable with people traveling that far and spending that kind of money to travel down when we may not be able to pay them. The hope is that once we've made the film, we're hoping to make a film of quality and take our time and really get this as good as a zero budget movie can possibly look. And my hope at that point is to potentially put the film up for streaming at a cost and then split that cost evenly amongst the cast at the end of the film. But realistically, we're not going to be making much money here. So it is a passion project and it's just for fun. Was this project inspired by other films? I guess subconsciously it was obviously inspired by slashers. Halloween, Friday the 13th. I guess Black Christmas would be a good one as an example, given that this slasher movie also takes place at Christmas. But I guess, yeah, the classic slasher movies certainly come to mind with this one. What got you into filming? I've always been interested in film from a young age. I know growing up in school, you have different kinds of kids, right? And you have the kids that are all about music, and you've got the kids that are all about video games. I was about two things. I was about video games, and I was also about film. And as soon as I could, I started making short films. I used to produce animations using Photoshop back in the day, and Flash animations and that kind of thing, before I finally got a camera and started filming, doing just on-camera stuff at first, and then obviously with a net moved into directing, and then since then I've made 2 feature films, zero budget, and quite a few adverts and music videos. And also I love writing. Writing is a passion of mine, so I really enjoy the process of writing scripts as well. What are the biggest challenges filming with zero budget? I think I kind of touched on this just now, but effectively, it's not having the money to pay people. The biggest challenge for me, beyond anything else, is that you don't really have the money to get locations, so you're filming guerrilla. You don't have the money to necessarily pay actors. Obviously, you can get food for them and stuff, but there are people volunteering their time kindly to be in your project. So obviously, you can't be too demanding of people, and trying to free up people's schedules is probably like the hardest job with a zero budget movie, in my experience, having done 2 now. That's not the fault of any of the actors. They are graciously giving their time to make this film and to make this work. So we really have to work around when people are free, when people are able to do it. So that can be not a frustration, but it's probably the hardest part of zero budget filmmaking for me. Top 5 horror films. So my personal top 5 horror films, in no particular order, and I realize when I thought about this, my top 5 horror films are almost identical, with a few changes to my top 5 films of all time. So I'm kind of a horror fan. Godzilla 1954. In my opinion, it is a horror film. It's one of the greatest horror films ever made. If you think of Godzilla as what Hollywood's produced now, or even what Toho produced in the 70s onwards, the later Showa era stuff, it's very different. I would recommend anyone watch Godzilla 1954. It is a bleak, horrific film, and it is, in my opinion, very much a horror film, and one of the best. Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien, an absolute masterpiece, a slasher in space, and one of the most terrifying things I'd ever seen as a kid. Absolutely love Alien. The Wicker Man. I think The Wicker Man is one of the greatest films ever made, and certainly one of the greatest horror films ever made. It's a masterpiece. And speaking of masterpieces, The Exorcist. The Exorcist is flawless. It is a flawless horror movie. It is absolutely fantastic. I've already lost count. How many have I done? Godzilla, Alien, The Wicker Man, The Exorcist, and a 5th one. Oh, it's always the 5th one that I struggle with. Let's go with Dracula. I think that Dracula, it didn't obviously... We had silent horror movies, but Dracula really kicked off the sound era of horror, and all of the great movies in that first Universal horror run that were to come following it. We had Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, The Mummy, House of Dracula, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all of those great films, The Wolfman, that never would have happened were it not for Dracula. And I think we could pretty much thank it for most modern horror today. I think Dracula is a fantastic film, and there are many interpretations of Dracula. For me, when I think of Dracula, it's either Christopher Lee or it's Bela Lugosi, but more often than not, it's Bela Lugosi. So, yeah, Dracula, Godzilla, Alien, The Exorcist, The Wicker Man, and Dracula. That was a really ropey top 5, but there we go. Plans for release. This is a good one. Plans for release. So, previously, we kind of rushed films out like a net and Cold Shot. We had a date ahead of time. We were like, it was coming out in, October 2019, before the film was even finished filming. So we really kind of, stuck ourselves with that one in the past, and this time we are not doing that. This time, because it's a serious movie rather than a comedy, we're looking to make something of the highest quality we can make on zero budget. So I'm not even going to put a date on this one in terms of when it's coming out. It will be out at a Christmas time, hopefully next year, but who knows. As for what we do with the release, as I said previously, I am thinking we may put it up at a charge, purely because that way we can hope to send some money back to the cast and crew who have helped us make this movie. But we'll see. I would also imagine we will almost certainly do a screening locally in Bristol for cast and crew and friends. But who knows? Who knows? It's a long way off. Obviously, we've just finished pre-production. Once we finish casting, we'll be ready to go straight into production this winter. And then obviously, we'll be filming on people's schedules when people are free and working towards a Christmas release of some kind. But certainly not this year. Hopefully next year. So that's that, everybody. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much to everyone who has auditioned. It's been amazing. You guys are fantastic. And I really hope we can work together on future projects if we don't work on this one together. But thank you for watching, everybody. If you're interested in any of the remaining roles, please see the link in the description and the details in the descriptions. Thank you so much. We will catch you next time.